Actually,
Nah.
let's do some NBA playoffs. All right, some NBA
Woo!
playoffs. I'm excited for this. So I don't really know what you have as far as content, but I kind of have my prediction, but I have a
Mm-hmm.
question for each
Okay.
that I
I'm
kind of want to
I'm
ask you
fired
and
up.
kind of frame it around that. We kind of talked about having, storyline of the series, and I kind of want
Mm-hmm.
to frame that around like a central question that I have for each
Okay.
series. So I'm
Let's
going to
go.
jump around. I'm not going to do all West then all East or one
Mm.
eight then kind of. I just want to jump
Yeah,
around
yeah.
just to keep everyone on their toes. So
Nice. Including me, hopefully.
correct. So let's start off with Thunder Grizzlies, though. All right. Thunder are obviously up 2-0. And here is
Yeah.
my question for this series is will Dylan Jones average more minutes per game in the first round than he did in the regular season?
God, we are off to a hot start. I didn't know I had to get that prepared for this. What was his regular season per game minutes? I'm gonna guess it was somewhere in the 6 to 10 range.
So he actually did start 3 games this year
Yep.
somehow.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but he was averaging 10 minutes a game. Now he
Mm.
did play 8 minutes in game one, but he did not
Mm.
play last night. So it's kind of throwing
Okay.
a wrench in this question. But
Okay.
I guess technically he is 8 minutes a game so far in the
Right.
first
Yeah. I was gonna
round.
say
Yeah.
that helps actually because so uh I'm gonna say I'm gonna say less I'm gonna say less just because he's so deep in the bench that he would have to have a game now where he plays in the third quarter, to average more than 10 minutes a game for the series if he got off to that start with just eight.
Well, I don't even know
Um,
really what happened last night. Like Shea somehow played 38 minutes and took 30 shots for some reason, even though
yeah, Shea is
they were winning by like 100 in the first quarter.
he's looked really weird in the two games. If you had to have, I mean, one criticism of OKC, even though they won by 19 and then was it 50 something the other night. But like Shea has not looked good at all in the two games, and it's the one place where I thought he really took a step up this season was in that dribbling with the left hand, taking that, looks like he's going to drive, but end up taking that kind of step back three. That became a shot that became a weapon for him this season. And he just hasn't looked comfortable with it at all in this Grizzlies series. He's looked like he's was forcing it a lot in game two. Took a lot of threes early. Started like 0 for 4 in the first quarter, which for him is just like that's too many threes. He should just be driving. But I'm not going to get too freaked out about it because he
He's
was
probably
so
just out
awesome
there
in the
trying shit.
he was just so awesome in the playoffs last year in that Mavs series that they ended up losing. I mean, his shot making there was unreal, combined with what we saw for 82 straight games in the regular season, pretty much. So, I,
Right.
I,
So, I
I
mean,
mean, maybe. Do you even give the Grizzlies a game in this? Like,
nah, I had it down as a sweep. The
yeah,
only sort of thing that I guess I'd give them is like game fours in series like this always
yeah.
kind of get
When you're up
weird
3-0,
when it's
yeah,
3-0 and it's kind of like all right, we're already through to the next round and then the home team's
mm-hmm.
like screw that, man, we're going to get one for our home
Yeah.
fans and we're going to take it back to OKC like that sort of
Desmond
thing.
Bain hits three threes in the first 2 minutes, and all of a sudden,
Then yeah,
the
then
crowd's
Josh
into it.
shoots SGA and it's kind of like it kind of gets dicey a little bit.
No, no, he's not going to shoot him. He's going to toss the grenade at him.
Yeah, my bad. Um, So yeah, it just kind of gets awkward in these game threes sometimes, or in these game fours
Game
sometimes. But
fours. Yeah.
I just don't because of how handily they've had the Grizzlies. Like if there had been a couple close games, like there had been a close game in there, maybe I could convince myself. But Thunder
Yeah.
sweep seems to be the I don't really
Also, the
want to think too
Grizzlies'
much more
offense.
about it. Yeah,
The Grizzlies' offense has just looked so inept. Like it's not
I
even
mean when you
like they
haven't
just
scored
can't get
102 games, like come on, man.
for a team that averaged the second most points per game in the league this season. So that's kind of crazy.
Even with their new coach, I mean I don't know how they could have possibly gotten disjointed.
Yeah. No, I saw him do the sideline interview in game two, and I'm already out on him. They say he's gonna become I guess he's like gonna still become the head coach next, but I'm out on him. I'm just calling it now. Out on the Grizzlies period right now.
All right, so I guess
Yep.
we're go kind of both have Thunder sweep.
Yep.
Um, Going on to Bucks Pacers. All right, so Pacers
Phew.
are up 2-0 right
Damn.
now,
Yeah, they
and
are.
my question that I wrote before the series started, and it's kind of somewhat already come to fruition. What Damian Lillard will play in this series, and does that even matter? So just for
Um.
context, Damian Lillard last night played 37 minutes, went 4
Yeah.
for 13, 2 for 8 from 3, had 14 points, um, and 7
I'm.
assists. So it's kind of just like I mean, he
I mean,
hasn't
that's the
played in a
part
little
that's.
bit, but
Yeah. With the that's the part that was so. Like, kind of, I don't think people, like, when they found out, when it was first announced, like, all right, he's going to be back from the blood clot, which I thought was just so cut so early. Like, I mean, you've seen guys like Wemby was shut down for half the year with the blood clot. Now, granted, I don't want to compare. Obviously, there's probably some stuff that I'm not factoring in, but like when it's half a season for one dude, and then like a couple weeks for another guy, like I just feel like obviously they have to be two completely different situations. But that just seemed crazy to me. And then he come back, and then like you said, his conditioning shit right now because he hasn't played in a bit. He's not wasn't shooting the ball well at all. He's going to be a negative defender. So it's like, what do you actually bring him back on the court?
right.
Um, and it hasn't been much. So and I don't even feel like it's fair to Lillard to criticize him at this point because like he was out multiple weeks dealing with a serious situation, and then you just throw him back into a playoff game. Like, I almost feel like that's irresponsible by the Bucks more than anything. I have a question for you though. I think this is going to be a fun one. Is Giannis the best player to ever be on the NBA TV series? We always have one series. We always have one series. 9 years out of 10, it's an Eastern Conference matchup, either like a 3-6 or a 4-5, where it's like, man, this series, if it only lasted like the first team to win two games advances, like no one would shed a tear.
Well,
Is Giannis the best
here's
player
my
to be in
question
that?
to your question to my question. Why don't they just put
Mm.
like the Thunder series on that? Because like, who cares?
I think it's part of building up the Thunder as a brand, like because
Okay.
they know they're going to end up being probably. I mean, I would feel comfortable saying they're going to be in the finals right now. Now, granted, we've only seen 82 regular season games and two playoff games, so things could change. I'm open to it, but yeah, I think they got to do a good job of building up the Thunder as a brand over these next couple of weeks.
But I guess to your point, I'd have to say either him or like a Jokic series from a couple years ago. I don't know what that series would have been, but
Because the thing is, like LeBron, I'm just thinking of like, and Giannis is this is also kind of a compliment to Giannis at the same time in the sense like I mean, he's insane. Like he's averaging 35 a game through the two games, and they
yeah,
haven't had a
the other
chance in
night
hell.
or last game he was 34, 18 and 7. So
Yeah,
on
I saw
70
a
on
stat.
70% shooting.
Yeah, like his last six playoff games, he's like 32, 15, and 6, and the Bucks are 0 and 6 in those games. Like it's unfair to Giannis, and it kind of lays the tracks for the hey Giannis and a conditional second round pick traded to dot dot dot. So I think that could be very possible
We
this
love the
series.
Bucks on glue guys. I mean, they got probably my two favorite non-Cavs in the league with Giannis and Damian Lillard, and then my
Yeah,
favorite Texas Longhorn in the league.
your favorite Longhorn.
Hmm.
What Longhorn is on the Bucks right now?
Jericho
P-
Sims, come on, man.
oh wow. Okay, I was gonna say PJ Tucker's on the Knicks. So what are we doing?
PJ Tucker's on the
Uh,
Knicks, and what's his name? Jackson Hayes is
Jackson Hayes is
on the
starting.
yeah shit.
I
I
mean, it's
guess.
it's sad. It's sad when he's getting the most run of any Texas guy in the playoffs.
Oh hell! Oh, in the playoffs, yeah.
In the playoffs, yeah. I was gonna say KD.
Rip, rip KD, man.
Real quick though, do you think? I mean, I think the Bucks. This is as crazy as it is to say. I think the Bucks have enough professional pride that they'll probably grab two games, but
Yeah, I
to
have
really
Pacers
make it
in
a
6.
series, yeah, I was gonna say I don't think they can really make it like a series where the Pacers are like shit. So I
So
don't
you're
know.
saying that it's not going to be a series? Or sorry, that the series isn't going to
No,
start ever.
no, because I don't think Bucks win 3 and 4. Like I think it's like Bucks will win 3, Pacers will win 4, Bucks will win 5, and then Pacers will just win 6.
Damn.
So like where it's not even like an even series at any point either. You know, almost like you'll like this one, but not quite to the same level. But Cleveland versus Toronto
Oh.
in the East Finals one time, where it ended 4-2, but it was like Cleveland never went to sleep one night in that series wondering if they were going to advance.
I think the funniest one of those that I ever saw closely was Cavs Pacers, that round one series the one year
Yeah,
where we were the
when
4 seed.
Bogdanovich took LeBron to 7.
And it was kind of like, yeah, it's 7. And
Yeah.
it's,
Yeah,
but like, there's no way that we don't win this series. Like,
The
at
only-
no point was anyone like, yeah, they're not going to go through.
the only minor counter I had was that Cavs team was so bad defensively. I think anyone could have scored 130 on them. So
I mean,
Yeah,
that's
no.
post that that trade deadline where we traded away
yeah,
D
Thomas.
Wade and Isaiah Thomas and
Crowder.
shit, I forgot about Jay Crowder's ass. I mean, that 17 team that we had was just more hilarious than anything else. Like the year before,
No, Oh yeah,
we
yeah, yeah.
still had Kyrie, but then the supporting cast was like the same as the 16 cast that was already probably a year too old,
That was
and then they were a year older.
Run it back.
Yeah. Like the biggest run it back team of all time. It's like, well, we won last year, so it should be fine.
Yeah, that one was tough. That one was tough. Although, look, that Cavs team I think deserves more credit. I almost want like one day and when it's peak, nothing going on would have to be in the summer. I was actually thinking about this today. I want to rank like the mini runs of teams in the last, 10, 15 years since we've been watching. I think like teams that haven't really won the title in that way. So I guess that would eliminate the Cavs run because they definitely got one. So
It's kind of a
Um,
weird one, though, where it's like they had dynasty like features, but they weren't a dynasty.
yeah,
Like they were in the
Well-
finals 4 straight years, but they only won one. And every
Yeah.
single year, everyone went in knowing that they were going to win the East.
yeah.
But yeah,
But then the part that sucks is then just 17 and 18 they just get killed in the finals because
against probably the best team of all time.
yeah. And I actually think 2017, like you were talking about the supporting cast being a bit old. I actually thought 17 might have been the best team of that run. Like honestly, I think that's when Braun and Kyrie were probably clicking at their peak level. Like I mean, there were still people like going into that 17 finals who were like, "Man, I wouldn't be surprised," and I'm just sitting there like, "What? What are we talking about?"
Well, nah, because that was
Um,
like peak LeBron being like chessboard, like at the chessboard being like,
Yeah,
all right, so if JR hits 3 threes in the 1st
Mhm.
half,
Shumpert's going to give you 2.
and then Corver, if we can get him involved,
Ooh.
but in a weird
Couple
way,
pin downs with Corver.
like it was just kind of like one of those where it was just like
Yeah.
peak like LeBron knowing he's wide open. It's like, okay, but Kyrie hasn't touched the ball in 3 possessions as I'm about to lay this ball up, so I'm gonna throw it to him. He's gonna miss
And
it, but
he's gonna
then for
feel
3 possessions, he's gonna be back and invested in this game. So it was just
Yeah.
peak that sort of analysis of him too. It's like, man, is it? He was kind of getting like Jordan analysis around that time, where it's like, shit,
Sure.
LeBron knew what he was doing missing that layup. Like he knew he wanted to get the defender confident, so next time he goes to the rim, he's a little soft on
He could
him.
just dunk on it. That's hilarious. That's hilarious.
So, I like I said, I have Pacers in 6.
Yeah.
Feel pretty good about it. It's just
We're agreeing a bit too much right now, but I'm not mad at it.
well, it's about to end right here. Rockets Warriors. All right, so Warriors, your boys. If those of you that don't know, all right, Chad's now. All right, no shit. We're watching the playoffs at our mom's house the other
Yeah.
day, and
Yep.
Chad referred to the Lakers as my Lakers when we were watching.
Or no, I think I said we, or I was
Yeah.
saying something.
Yeah.
I was like, we gotta stop Ant going to the basket. I think, or something like
he
that.
calls the Lakers we, but we've all known that for the past basically since past 10 years, Chad's team come
Yeah.
playoff time is going to be the Warriors. So I know this one's going to hit a little bit home for him this series. So my question to you, Chad,
Yeah.
is can the Rockets afford to play 8 guys this entire playoffs? Because I saw the game one game log for them, and I was just like, I get it that you kind of like it gets to the playoff time, you start to shrink your bench a little bit, but eight
Sure.
guys in game one of round one is kind of even narrow even for a playoff bench. So like what do you think? So like guys like Jeff Green, Aaron Holiday, Reed Shepard not getting on the court. What do you
Mhm.
think that that looks like if you're actually trying to make a run at shit, even the second round, much less the third?
Yeah, you bring up a good point because like a lot of times that game one is where you play the nine, maybe even you'll play a 10th guy just to kind of like see what he looks like out on the court with these guys in a real setting. It's different regular season versus playoffs. We all know that. But like to really see what it looks like while the guy is out there, to the point you're making, Houston didn't even give that chance. Like they didn't even Ime didn't even go with that. He kind of went with 8 guys he knows. I think part of it is he knew they were at home, so he wanted to get the team confidence. It's a young group for going against a team that has so much experience. I mean, when you're talking about the top 3 guys, with Butler, Curry, and then obviously Draymond. But like they had to get that game won and they didn't. And so now I think this is where maybe he does start to get a little more expansive because what they need is they need some scoring. They need someone who, I mean, 85
Really,
points in a
85
playoff game
points a
is
game isn't going to cut it in the playoffs, you don't think?
85 in a playoff game. Like the Grizzlies are like, man, these guys can't get it going. Like,
Yeah,
that
so
is,
Fred Van Vliet goes 4 for
yeah,
19 and shoots legit
yeah.
21% from the field. And Jalen Green
Well,
just
I was
sees
gonna
that
say,
and
Jalen,
goes, watch this. And he shoots 20% from the field. So,
yeah,
I mean, shit, even Tari
yeah,
Eason came off the bench and went 3 for 10.
three for
So,
10. Yeah,
the only
I'm
guy
gonna
that
make
looks
a
that really had a good offense or a decent offensive game was Shingun shooting
yeah,
61%, but he's
and
fucking 7 feet tall. So,
and he looked really good. Like he actually looked really comfortable, kind of facing against Draymond, um, facing against Post when Post was in there, and like
mhm.
Post is gonna. He's a big body, but he doesn't really play big in that type of way. He's more of like a spacing finesse type of big. I
He's like
do
Neville
think though too.
Shedd.
Nah, because he wouldn't put the mask on and come back. He wouldn't put on the catcher's mask and come back into practice. I'm just kidding. I like Quentin Post a lot, but 2 guys I think for Houston to look out for who could probably get some run, maybe in game 2 if the scoring problems continue, possibly game 3, depending on how desperate Ime gets, is Jay Sean Tate and Cam Whitmore. Because
Mhm.
I think those are 2 guys that can actually put the ball in the basket. So if you start to see them maybe over some, I mean, God, it'd be hard to see those guys playing over Green and Van Vliet, but like I mean, I don't think Ime cares. Like Ime's just gonna play. He kind of showed it all season. He's gonna close with whatever guys give him the best chance. He's gonna ride with whatever guys give him the best chance to win the game. He doesn't care about feelings, contracts, any of that shit. So I think those guys will get a chance. Will it be enough? I don't think so. But I mean, this is another one where like I don't want to freak out over. And Rosillo always makes a good point of this one. Don't freak out over the game one reaction.
Mhm.
Like and how many of these series maybe kind of fall into that category? Um, because I've also seen nights where Green looks explosive in the fourth quarter, and I've
Jeff
seen
Green?
moments where not Jalen Green looks explosive in the fourth, and I've also seen games where Golden State looks super stagnant, in those closing minutes. So I'm not gonna marry myself to the Warriors are just going to win this series because they've got more experience and they grab game one on the road. Like I still think this is a very toss-uppy type of series to me.
Yeah, I had Rockets in 6 just because I kind of thought that game one went the exact way that the Warriors needed it to go. Where, like
Yep.
you said, the Rocket shots weren't falling, they couldn't really get it going, and it's like,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people talk about a lot of times if a team is shooting too well, then it's like, oh, they're going to revert to the mean. It's like the
Mm-hmm.
Rockets aren't going to shoot 35% as a team for this entire series. It's not going to happen.
Probably
And as you
not.
get later in the series, when Draymond's playing 35 to 38 minutes a game for 7 straight playoff games when Steph
Yep.
Curry's just getting hit and hit and hit over and over again. Like these are not
Mm-hmm.
young guys or not and I mean Draymond, he's built his whole career on being able to defend bigger guys and Steph Curry has been living his career off. He runs a marathon every game around screens and stuff like that, but game
Yeah, he
6,
does.
game 7 time, I'm not going to say he can't do it because I'm never going to doubt Steph really ever again. But it's just kind of
Mm-hmm.
like, is he really going to have the energy to do that at his age
Yeah.
when he's running off 6, 7, 8 screens and then he's got Jalen Green's athletic ass that's just in his airspace if they just decide to go that way and say, screw it. We just don't want
Yeah.
this guy to get the ball.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I mean, he plays at such a conditioning level that, like you said, I'm never going to doubt it, but it's just crazy.
So what
Um,
do you still have your Rockets going through in this series, or are you thinking, or sorry, your Warriors, or do you think your favorite team when
um,
James Harden was there, the Rockets, are gonna come through?
ultimately, I do think Golden State is going to prevail in the series, but this is another one I could see six, definitely at least six. If it even went seven, I wouldn't be surprised. Truly, truly.
Yeah. So next one is interesting because we have Knicks Pistons now. Again, me and Chad watched Game One
I
together.
love this series. I love this
and
series.
It was like so again, we're kind of at a family gathering during this game, and we're just kind of like talking and then looking up,
Yeah.
and then talking, then looking up, and we watched that fourth quarter together. And every single time we looked up, it was someone on the Pistons doing literally the dumbest possible thing they could do on that possession, and then the next going down and hitting a three. And then we look up again, and then Cade would do the dumbest possible thing you could do, and then someone sorry, not someone. Kate freaking campaign going down and hitting the damn three. And every single time they cut to him, a part of me died. Every
Oh,
single
yeah.
time they did a close up
100%.
on campaign, part of me really, really died. And I was just like, because he honestly might be my least favorite player in the entire league. So,
Man, that's some high praise. Like Ethan, one of the things we love about him most is like he's a certified hater. And like to be at the top of the certified haters list, I think is actually an accomplishment borderline. Let's just stay on this for a second. Specifically, what is it about Payne that like kind of pisses you off? Was it that Twitter photo of his profile of his face?
I think it was the
or was
year,
it something else?
like the time when the Suns were really good and they were like getting to the
Yeah.
finals and stuff. Somehow
First 10
he
minutes.
decided it was like his team in individual moments, and like he
Yeah, he
would like
did.
go out of his way to be like, "Yo, LeBron, what's up?"
Oh yeah, yeah, he did.
I'm like,
actually
"Your
did.
campaign."
Yeah,
Like-
you're barely in the league.
That's what I'm saying. Like he kind of like was Dylan Brooks, but worse as a basketball player. Like he was trying to do the Dylan Brooks impression, but he's can't like I can't emphasize it enough. Like your campaign, like I can't really emphasize that part enough. And then when when they went to the finals, and actually, but shocker. His minutes start getting jacked up in the finals, and then they just instantly start losing. I'm looking at it right
Yeah.
now. They go up 2-0. He's playing 16 minutes, then 10 minutes. And then in the 4 games that they lose, he goes 25 minutes, 17, 14, 10. So even though his minutes are slowly declining through the back end of
Yeah.
that series, he's still those
playing.
2 main games in there where it starts to flip in 3 and 4.
3 and
He's playing
4,
25 and 17. And he's like throwing up shots for some reason again, and it's just like your campaign. So I don't know. It's just the
Been in
guy.
the league for 10 years somehow.
Yeah,
10
it's
years.
like Scrappy Doo. Like you hear like the two big dogs talking. They're going back and forth, and it's kind of like, all right, cool. And then it's like, what's that? What's that sound? It's like, it's freaking campaign in his cage again. Just ignore him.
Yeah. Getting to the serious part of this series, though.
Oh yeah,
I
but my
love it.
question was, are the Pistons
Oh,
just
yeah.
going to choke every single part of this series away?
I mean, if you watch, the crazy thing is, you talked about it in game one. They did the exact damn same thing in game two. They just
They
like,
just won
and
instead.
I remember, like, I swear, I wish I could have recorded, like, I had, like, my ring set up in the living room while I was watching this one. the Knicks were, or the Pistons were up somewhere between 10 and 15. I don't remember exactly. They just go on this crazy run, end up tying the game. And then I actually say out loud, I'm like, God, as terrible as the Pistons have played, if they make 2 plays in this game, they'll somehow win it.
Mm.
And then, like, you'll be feeling good. And then all of a sudden, no shit, the exact next play, Dennis Schroeder hits that 3.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, there's one. And then they come down and get the stop, and I'm like, there's 2. So, like, somehow I found myself rooting for the Pistons. You talked about your least favorite player being Cam Payne. I don't even think mine's Jalen Brunson.
But just
like,
funny because
you-
to me he comes across as like a you guy.
I'll tell you this: Jalen Brunson 2 years ago, yes, but Jalen Brunson now, like, anyone that can clearly surpass Luka and Jokic for most foul complaining in the NBA, like, you are special. You are a special individual to, like, take, like, Luka was at all time levels last season and seasons before.
Where he's like stopping he's stopping playing
yeah.
the game so that he can yell more.
I mean, Brunson literally in that game 1, I don't know if you remember the play, but Asar Thompson just, like, cut him off to the spot.
Yeah.
But Brunson, for whatever reason, was like, no, I'm just going to keep dribbling. And then dribbled right out of bounds and then got pissed at the ref. And it's like, dude, that was nothing close to a foul. So he's super annoying. I've loved Cade. Cade's response in game 2, it kind of reminded me of how I felt about Paolo in that Cleveland series last year. Where it was, hey, these are real moments where this guy is, like, really delivering for a team that doesn't have a lot of answers outside of him. As I said, Schroeder was really good. I think he had 20 in the game, but, like, outside of that, like, you're looking at Tobias Harris to create shots. Like, Beasley and Hardaway were MIA. I think they were 1 of 14 combined from 3. And at a certain point, Cade was just like, I don't care. I'm just putting my head down and going to the basket. And that dude's a bitch in transition. Like, damn.
It's also kind of cool, like, seeing those moments where, like, guys, you kind of see them taking the next step, and they're not quite becoming, like, and it's hard for us to put it in context because, you know, our generation of people, it's like we watch LeBron and Steph and KD, and they're not becoming those guys, but you can, like, see them becoming legitimate stars in front of your eyes because, and the only reason I say that, I kind of hear you already giving your rebuttal, but it's like, because I'm kind of hesitant to overreact now because of kind of what everyone did with Anthony Edwards at the end of last year's playoffs, where it's just like, oh, okay, so Anthony Edwards now just like a consensus top 6 guy. The Timberwolves are just going to be in the conference finals now just because they have him, and he's still a fantastic player. I'm not taking any of that away, but you already know what my biggest thing when it comes to sports is can you be X, Y, or Z consistently? And so kind of seeing Cade, like, reach that level where it's like he's not going to be like the best player in the league next season, but he kind of starts entering that class of like a guy like a T-Mac, where it's like you're not going to win the title because you have him on your team, but you're just kind of like, God damn, we got to play against freaking Cade tonight, man. Oh my God. He's going to make it, like, his team has a chance to win just because they have him.
100%. And I think that's part of, I was going to say, like, honestly, the T-Mac, and I don't even think you were doing the comparison necessarily, but, like, from a size, athletic, finishing perspective, that actually makes a lot of sense. T-Mac probably a bit more athletic. But I just think Cade actually just plays, like, super winning basketball. Like, so many times he was, like, switched on to Brunson or was, like, legitimately guarding Towns, who had 0 points in the second half of game 2. And he's just, like, given all the effort he's got on the defensive end. And then they're giving him the ball and, like, all right, now create for us, like, 10 possessions in a row in a tight game on the road for a group that's got, like, no playoff experience.
Right.
So I'll
and
be
then
honest.
He got some good minutes out of Tim Hardaway Jr. and stuff like that. So
I told you it was 1 for 8 from 3 last night. So not great, Bob.
Oh, no.
I'm gonna go.
Oh, no.
No, he might have been 0 for 6. He was 0 for 6.
He was 0 for 6 from 3, 0 for 8 from the field, which is good.
There you go.
He did, however, get a rebound and an assist.
So he didn't quite get the Kuzma game.
Now, he wasn't a trillionaire quite.
which is now the new takeover from the Tony Snell game. It's now officially the Kuzma game. I'm gonna go ahead and do it. I got Pistons in 7. Fuck it. I got Pistons in 7. I've seen that. I mean, the Pistons have been better 7 of the 8 quarters of the series. You know,
you listen to you listen to some.
Oh yeah, Bill said it, but even after it's one of those things
Is
where
that
that
one
first guy
game 1 fourth quarter that was just like, just happened?
It's the statement where the first guy who says it automatically gets credit for yeah, but it's like, hey, guess what? Anyone that watched the series, I mean, shoot, we both talked about it just now. Like the Pistons. Okay, I'll say it more creatively. The Pistons have won 80 of the 96 minutes, that have been played so far. So I would say,
and you can definitely see, especially for a younger team, like how easily that can compound. Where it's like, all right, our best player just made a bad play. All right, throw it to this guy. Cade's screwing up now.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and that's exactly what game 1 and like we said, like 90% of game 2 was, or of that fourth quarter of game 2 was, where like it was all the hits of, all right, Cade's going to turn it over. Now Ausar Thompson's going to turn it over. Now they're going to get a shot clock violation. Then they're going to punt one out. Ausar Thompson's going to have a dunk that he ends up punting out to midfield or midcourt because he misses it. More shot clock violations. Brick threes. All the while they're giving up layups and wide open threes on the other end. So, who do you have? How do you see the series finishing out?
I still have Knicks in 6. I just don't trust really the Pistons down the stretch. Like you said, I mean, in both games, they've already had just like weird stuff happen in crunch situations and games where it's closer. And I mean, if we're being honest, guys like Brunson are going to start getting those, are going to keep getting, weird calls late in games. And guys like Karl Anthony Towns aren't not going to score in the second half of the rest of these games. Yeah. So I just, again, good for Cade, but I think still Knicks in 6 is still pretty safe in my opinion.
Fair enough. Real quick, can we run through these last 2 East series before we get to kind of, I would say, the main entrees with the West?
Well, let's go. What do you want first?
I'll go Celtics Magic.
Celtics Magic. So are the Magic the most in limbo team in the NBA is my question. So here's kind of what I mean from it. So they're 7 seed.
Yep.
They have a really, really, really good player. Like really, really good. Paolo.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But then kind of even their role guys are sort of like strange. You don't feel amazing about any of them really. Like you would think like, okay,
you're telling me you don't feel amazing about the KCP contract?
Amazing? No. I mean, of course I like it because KCP is my guy, but no, like you're kind of just like looking at their team and their role guys, and you're just kind of like, is this guy gonna even help us? Like, could he even be the second best guy in us winning a title? Like, even you look at Franz, sorry. You look at Franz, and it's kind of just like, I'll just never be able to look past what he did last year in Game 7. Like, I'll just until I see other evidence, I just won't be able to look past that, and it's just kind of like. And that's
until he's holding the Finals MVP trophy, then you'll be like, I think he might be pretty good.
Literally, and then you're looking at other guys that they're expecting to make an impact, and you're like that's when you get like to Anthony Black and Cole Anthony and Wendell Carter, and it's just kind of like, are those guys that you're going to throw the ball to and with 5 minutes left in a big game? Like, I don't care how good Paolo is, I just don't feel good about any of those guys. I mean, they're top 3 guys. It's like cool. Like, again, Franz, I have my own doubts. Suggs, I don't really want him being my 3rd best player. So.
No. Suggs was put on this earth to play that Drew Holiday role that he has on the Celtics right now.
Correct. And it's like, it's not like they have a ton of assets that they can just, farm away for a high pick or throw away for like one guy, or they've never been known to really splash huge in free agency. Like, I know they have Mac McClung, but I don't really know, what he's going to bring to the table either. So, I mean, like, so that's sort of my framing for that question. So, like, what do you think of like the Magic, I guess, as an organization right now, as in limbo, sort of just constantly being that like 8 to 5 seed in the East and never really going to get past round 1?
I think they're better than that because they have what we talked about. They have a guy. And I think the thing that's also like on Orlando's side I would argue, is not only do they have a guy, but they don't have like a debilitating contract on their roster. Like the KCP one, I don't love, but it's like I think it's 3 years, 60. Is it an overpay? Yes, but is it Bradley Beal for 3 more years at the Supermax or 2 more years at the Supermax? Well, nothing's that level, but like you know, like like it's not close to that bad. And Paolo is 22. So
Yeah.
like I just will bet on them to be like, all right, eventually we'll put like I think all the guys are actually okay, but they just all need
Correct.
to be down a spot.
Correct.
Franz, if Franz is your third guy, you're feeling awesome. If like you said, like we kind of said with Suggs, if he's like your fourth guy, is like a guy who you're not relying on to create offense, but just like spot up shoot, play good defense, run a team, like awesome. But they need to get that second guy, and if they end up losing in 5 in this series the way I think they will, those talks will probably at least start this summer for figuring out who that next guy could be in Orlando, which will have to be. I mean, it'll have to be through trade because, like you said, they just don't attract free agents.
Right. I mean, KCP has a player option in 2 years. Do you think he's going to pick that up?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. KCP. K, KCP has replaced the big baby Davis. Even when Jacques is gone, he'll be there.
Exactly. So, I mean, I really like Paolo, and I'm kind of honestly saying this just as like a fan of his because I hate it when
Yeah.
players
You
have to
worry
go
for
through
him.
extended periods of their career where they're just like
Yeah.
existing. I mean, shit. Again, in the same franchise, like T Mac, being like, yeah, I'm gonna average 30 and go out in the first round every year
Well,
because
even think of like, and granted, this guy is completely different from Paolo because I think Paolo has more drive, which is crazy to say, but like, fellow Duke guy, like, look at Zion, where it was like, oh man, Zion was so fun. Oh man, the Pelicans made it to the play-in, but they lost. Man, they're going to be back. And now it's been like 6 years and Zion hasn't even, or 5 years and Zion hasn't even sniffed the playoffs. So, Paolo is already exceeded that crazily enough, but like you said, I don't want it to be where he's just a first round and out type of guy. Like he's better than that.
I
So
think I'm not. This is more half baked, but I think Zion was genetically engineered by David Stern before he like obviously before
mm,
he came close to
that was
dying
his
of
parting gift.
being like, hey, I'm gonna create this guy that right when everyone loses interest in the NBA, he's gonna come in
Hmm.
and play 15 games, and everyone's gonna be
Yep.
like, what the hell is this? Is this dude this
And
now?
then
And then as
and
soon as
then
interest comes back, he's gonna
yeah,
get hurt again or just
yeah,
start eating again. So
yeah.
I think he's just like genetically created by David Stern to keep interest in the league in like February, March time.
I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that. How you got this Celtics Magic series ended?
I have Celtics in 5 as well. I have
Okay.
Celtics in 5. Um,
Yeah.
I also have this last East series in a similar way, but my question to you is can Mobley take the leap into being a star? I don't mean like a person that can make an all-star team. I don't even mean like a good player. Like, can he be the second best player on a team that's trying to make the finals?
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's already, you know, crazy to say, but like he's already that.
Sorry, not
You know,
trying to make the finals, like a team that's legitimately supposed to make the finals. Can he be that?
Yeah, yeah, because he's become more aggressive this year, and it hasn't just been the fact that he's up from 1 3-point attempt a game to 3. Like it's the fact that he's ducking in more. He's getting those cross matches, and he's just not messing around shooting. I mean, I remember that Orlando series. He was shooting like some dumbass turnarounds, like right in front of the basket, and he'd be fading away, and
Yeah.
it would make me so mad. He's not doing that this year. He'll still have the one every once in a while just because he's like still like 23 weirdly,
Hmm.
and he has like a kind of a narrow frame, so he's going to get pushed around a little, but like for the most part he's just going up, going over guys, following up his own shot, like really just playing with a mean streak. Like this is the first year where I felt like Mobley really understands like, hey man, I'm pretty awesome. Like and that's been, I'm not going to say the entire reason of the Cavs' success this year because it's been a whole bunch of factors, obviously. But Mobley's continued development, like I think he's going to be probably an All NBA guy this year.
Hmm.
And you wouldn't have said that about him last year or 2 years ago.
And
So
adding
yeah,
on to that, I
Mobley
mean,
is
this is a
legit.
dude that was all defense his second year in the league, and I think he
Yeah.
finished like third in Defensive Player of the Year that year. And
He's a finalist for it this year too.
correct, so which the good thing is that Draymond already proclaimed himself Defensive Player of the Year,
Yep.
so we don't even have to take the vote anymore. But Evan Mobley is like one of those guys where it's like you're now starting to see what those KG comps were when he first came out. Like you're starting to
Yeah.
see. I mean, obviously he has the defensive game. He's probably not as
Yeah.
good like with the ball in his hands, like just in general play as like a KG, and that's something that he needs to work on as far as like creating and actually dribbling the basketball, which I know sounds
hmm
weird, um, but like the way he's able to score now, and like you said, not the ease, but the ease of his mind of being like, all right, boom, it's my time to score. And I was actually
Yeah.
thinking about this today, like how much I enjoy watching players that know that they're good. Like players that
hmm
know,
Yeah.
okay, I'm good at this thing, so I'm just going to do that. Not like,
It's
I
exactly
think
what
I can
happened
get
to
this
Mobley.
turnaround, but
Yeah.
it's like, dude, I'm good at doing this boom, hard dribble, turn around. I'm just going to get to the basket and throw it off the backboard. And you can
Yeah.
clearly see that in the shots that he's taking and his field goal percentage. Even though it's down a little bit, he's like more involved in the offense now. And I really enjoy seeing that from him. I would like to see him be a little bit of a better rebounder. I kind of feel like a guy that athletic, that big, that good of ball instincts, if that makes sense. I kind of want to see him averaging double figures rebounds. But,
Yeah.
that's going to be something that's going to go up in the playoffs. So I think if we can get him to like 22 and 11 in the playoffs, I think that's going to be the
Oh yeah.
difference between us. I mean, if he can exceed either of those, then I think that's going to be the difference between, the Cavs being making the conference finals and going home with their heads held high in six versus, hey,
Mm.
we're going to make the finals.
Yep. No, I completely agree. I completely agree because I don't think
Because Donovan
Boston
Mitchell is
has a
weirdly
clean
just
matchup
like a
for him.
guaranteed playoff guy.
Yeah, he's guaranteed 25 to 30. Just a matter of how efficient is it going to be. That's the only question.
Well, I saw a
So,
stat the other day that said that he matched Jordan's record of most consecutive 30-point game ones.
yeah, with 9, I think it was.
I can't remember if it was 8 or 9, but yeah, it's just
Yeah,
having a guy like Donovan
yeah.
Mitchell. Like we joke, me and you joke about it all the time. But it's like the only Cav I've ever seen really do this is LeBron, is just to be the best guy on a Cavs team that's actually good. So to
Oh
see
yeah,
someone else do it's actually pretty refreshing. And but I will say I do
definitely.
have the Cavs in a 5 because I think the Heat are going to do that game 4 thing too, where they kind of look around. They're like Heat culture. Screw this getting swept in the first round. Oh, we're going to win in
Davion
Miami.
Mitchell's going to hit 5 threes.
No, I think Tyler Hero is just going to will it. Just he's going to be wearing some sunglasses. It's
On
not
the
going to do
court.
anything to do with his basketball ability. He's just going to be wearing shades before the
Mm.
game, and they're just going to hand him a win.
I've liked Hero this year, so I could see. I've got Cavs in 4. I just don't think. I think Miami's just awful. Um,
You don't have any faith.
honestly.
You don't have any faith in Bam.
No, because Bam's been bad this year. Like he's picked it up maybe the last month or so, but Bam has not been good. So he needs a summer. He needs a summer where we don't talk about Asia Wilson every time we mention Bam's name, and vice versa.
Well, it's always funny too. I mean, like even like Hawkes' regression and what he's become. Like
Yeah,
last
I mean
year,
he's barely even playing for him this
he
year.
played like a minute in
Or
game
right now.
1 or something crazy like
Yeah.
that. But kind of last year, him being like the out of nowhere guy, where it's like, oh, this dude was
Yeah.
drafted later, and look at how good he is. And I can't believe all these teams passed on him. To now, he's like
Yeah.
he can't even get on the court.
Yeah, exactly. In like 12 months. So that is crazy. That is good to point out.
Yeah.
From you, though.
So yeah, let's go on to the meat and potatoes of it. I want to do the Nuggets first.
All right.
I want to do the Nuggets first. And here's my question to you, which actually got I wrote this, I think, just after game 1. And now it's become even more spicy since that happened. Is this going to be the best round 1 series in the modern, like in the past couple of years? The one that I think of as kind of the poster boy of this is that Clippers Spurs series, round 1 and
Oh, yeah.
15.
Yep.
Um,
Absolutely.
but I was doing
that was,
some
that was where
research.
my mind immediately went too.
Yeah, I was doing some research on some game or some round 1s that went to game 7s in recent years. We had Cavs Magic last year, which was an interesting game seven, but a game seven nonetheless.
Yeah, yeah,
Golden State Sacramento in 23 when Curry went off for 50
yeah.
in game
That was a
seven.
fun game for the Curry fans, but I don't know about anybody else.
2021 Clippers Mavs,
Ooh, I like that one.
another Kawhi series.
Kawhi was insane in that series, like the last 5 games.
And then OKC Houston in 20. That was like the first. That was like the SGA coming out party.
Westbrook and Harden. Yeah, Chris Paul versus Westbrook and Harden.
And it's kind of like
that was
that was that weird time where it was like Chris. And I think Russillo talked about this before, where it was like for years, all the OKC fans were like, "Oh, Russell Westbrook is this and that and the other," and then they saw like how like an actual point guard plays basketball, and they're like, "Oh, this is actually kind of nice." like not having to wonder, is my point guard going to throw the ball to the wrong team trying to play quarterback right now on this play?
I'll say this. I think it's probably best. God, I was going to say basketball-wise, it's probably better than all those series. But the thing is, like, Denver just doesn't have a good team. Like, in all honesty, Denver does not have a good squad.
Counterpoint. I actually think that makes it better, just because it's
just one player versus a good team.
It's literally 1-on-5. That's what makes it even cooler, because it's like
fair.
You're kind of like nudging the person next to you. It's like, is this jackass really about to win this game by himself now?
Exactly.
And then he does,
Exactly.
and it's like, what the hell's happening right now?
That's fair. Yeah, that kind of does play into it. I mean, look, I'll say this: if Kawhi plays the way he did in Game 2, if he plays like that the rest of the series, it won't go down as an all-time first-round series, because it'll be over in like 5 games.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that dude was unreal, and I think I don't like that we've gotten to the point with Kawhi where he's now in the Kyrie category of like, hey, every time he plays well, we're gonna celebrate it, but every time he plays like shit, we're not gonna say anything. Like, I don't like how we've gotten to that point in the Kawhi conversation, just because I think he's a better player than that. Doing some live editing on the pod, but I do think that he was awesome in Game 2. He's been awesome for a good month now, but same thing we've talked about every time we've talked about Clippers for the past 5 years is, would you bet your house that he's going to be good tomorrow? No. Or that he's even going to play tomorrow or in the next game? No, you wouldn't. So I have no idea.
Yeah, it's just I think we've all been burned by Kawhi too much. I really just can't.
If this was like last year or 2 years ago,
right,
I think people would have no problem being like, oh yeah, Kawhi, like Clippers, no doubt.
Correct.
And
now
I think
it's just
like you said, it's been one too many.
Yeah, I really can't. Like, I really want, because I like Kawhi. Like, Kawhi is strangely cool.
Absolutely.
Like, he's strangely just a cool dude to root for. But it's just like, I mean, like you said, last 2 years. I mean, he's already matched his the most playoff games he's played in the past 3 years. I mean, he played 2 this year, 2 last year, 2 the year before, and it's just like, why would I believe that this year is the year where he's just really going to pull? And I hope he does. I want to see Kawhi Leonard play basketball, but I mean, he hasn't played like a real deep finals, like real deep playoff. He hasn't had one of those since Toronto.
Yeah, no, I mean, well, Clippers in 20 when they blew a 3-1 lead to the Nuggets.
I mean, that was second round, though. So it's like, am I really going to sit here and be like, Kawhi?
That's the last time he finished the playoffs. That's the last time he finished the playoffs since. Well, yeah, that's the last time he's finished the playoffs. The only time since the title that he's finished healthy. So, who do you have in this series? Where do you see this one going?
I quietly have Nuggets in 7, just because like I said, I don't feel great about Kawhi, A. And B, I really also like this. In a strange way, I like it that Russ thinks that he's still the best player in the world. I kind of like that on a team that's not very good, because he's going to have moments or even maybe an entire game or two where he's like,
where he has to think that.
Yeah, where he's like, I'm actually going to score 20 tonight. and then he's actually
Yeah.
going to do it once or twice, and it's going to be like
Mm-hmm. They're
we
giving him the ball in the last minutes of the game somehow. Weirdly.
correct. And then if it turns into a thing where like Jokic is able to be not a second option, but like the 1.5 option, where it's like if Russ just throws it to him, he's going to be one on one. Then
Mm-hmm.
that's going to be something that they can exploit. Jamal Murray, who knows what's going to happen game to game? I know you're not the biggest fan right now. And then Aaron Gordon, I mean, on like dunks and layups, he's going to be able to do that. Again, I'm not saying their team is just going to automatically turn to good, but if you only have
Mm-hmm.
to win 4 out of the 7 games, which I know sounds dumb, but if you only have to have
Mm-hmm.
4 good games in 2 weeks, I feel like they'd probably be able to do it. And I'm not going to bet against the best player in the world. And hedging that bet against someone that's constantly injured,
Inconsistent.
I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, even Harden at an advanced age, I'm not gonna be hanging my hat on him. Definitely not if you're gonna
Had a
give
good
Nick
game
Batum
one,
20
pretty
minutes a
bad
game.
too. Batum, yeah, him still being in the league needs to be studied. We got a lot of stuff from today's podcast that needs to be studied. I weirdly have Clippers in 7. I think the one thing is the Clippers have been super attentive to the cuts from Denver. Like when Jokic has the ball, guys just start cutting. And I think the Clippers have been really live to it the first 2 games. They got Jokic had 7 turnovers, I think, in game 2. Like, I think the Clippers, and this is the ultimate, like, I agree with every single thing that you said about the Clippers, about how can you trust them, all that, all this. I'm going to trust them for 12 more days. After that, I have no idea, but I'm going to trust them for 12 more days, so we'll see.
Well, also, I feel like the thing I kind of weirdly like about the Nuggets is what starts to happen in games 6 and 7, and every single 6 and 7 that's ever happened is
Give the
team.
ball to the best player, everybody else get as far away as possible.
Correct. That, and then also it's like, hey, man, Michael Porter Jr., if you can make a quarter 3, just 1 or 2, that'd be awesome. Hey,
Yep.
Christian Brown,
Yep.
if you can make 1 or 2 corner 3s, that'd be awesome. Jamal Murray,
Mm-hmm.
if you can just catch and shoot a little bit or just like catch it, pump fake and drive like literally once or twice this quarter, that'd be awesome.
Yep.
And when the guy that is in the center of that is Jokic, and you're just going to do him one on one with Zubac, or turn around and be like, you know what?
Ben.
We're just, yeah, I say, you know what? Screw it. We're going to have Zubac like guarding you, and then we're going to have Kawhi coming down, or whoever, you know, being that extra
Yeah.
half defender. It's
Mhm.
and then Jokic gets to make the decision on each play. I kind of just like
Yep.
that more than anybody on the Clippers, which they
Fair.
have great players, and Kawhi's great, and Harden's been great really his whole career. But I just would rather have Jokic doing that than really anyone else in the world, regardless
Fair
of his supporting cast.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. This year definitely puts that to the test. Last game, I think our last series to talk about, best for last. Lakers Wolves. Lakers get killed game 1, come back and win game 2 at home. I thought pretty comfortably actually. I thought the Lakers. I'll just real quickly give my thoughts and then swing it to you. I thought the Lakers just played with more energy in game 2. Minnesota didn't match it. They looked like a team who was psyched that they won game 1, and then we're like, all right, we got to stay out here for another one. I think 3 and 4. This is a series where 3 and 4 I think could both be like really awesome games. You talked about Nuggets Clippers maybe being that great series. I think I could see this one being more of like a might just go 6, but it could be like 6 really awesome games. Could definitely go 7. But I'm rolling with the crown. This one I picked the head over the heart in Nuggets Clippers. Lakers Timberwolves. I'm just going with the heart, baby. King James and Luka taking us to the second round.
Yeah, I mean, in a strange way, like I asked sort of what happens with the Lakers if they lose the series, but I guess I don't really care about that right this second. I just
Well,
think
they go get a center is the first thing
that's the thing is, and
because
it's
they don't have one.
yeah, R.I.P. my boy Jackson Hayes. Really, I mean, it really is like
6 minutes, I
Finney
think.
Smith is the fifth guy, is the fifth
Yep.
starter, even though I guess he isn't starting the game. And they're just going to have to roll the dice. I mean, when they're looking across and the big men on the other team is Rudy Gobert on offense and Julius Randle, I mean, you're going to probably roll with that sort of like Rui LeBron front line against that. And I think they'll be able to
because
live.
Rudy's not going to kill you.
I was about to say, I think they'll be able to live with Rudy's like 8 points a game he's going to score on like 3 or 4 dunks or something like that. And they're just going to be like, shrug their shoulders and be like, screw it, he's 7-3 or whatever. And then they're going to run back down and put him in pick and roll. So,
which they've been doing a lot of the first 2 games. Like, I think JJ's made an effort to, like, he almost is trying as hard as he can to play Gobert off the floor because, like what you said, like, if they take him off and then it's Randall and Naz Reid, all of a sudden LeBron can get to the basket anytime he wants. Reeves can kind of go past anybody. Luka's huge, so like if he gets in the paint, it's kind of over. So they're like trying everything to get Rudy off. I got a question for you about this series.
hit me.
Does Naz Reid have the quickest jump shot you've ever seen for a big man?
I guess
because I don't know if he
Sean
actually
Marion, I
holds the ball
guess,
when he
doesn't count
shoots.
as a big man, but
Yeah.
so I guess I'd have to go yes because the Sean Marion shit that he used to throw up, I don't really understand even to this day what it was, but the Naz Reid one is a good big man version of it.
Like his release is so quick, and I'll give Naz Reid a bunch of credit, and I'll throw my hands up because in high school they used to call him a big guard, and I'd be like, what? Like, what does that even mean? Like, that's not even, that sounds some stupid ass Slam magazine term that people came up with. And now when you watch him, he's like, well, shit, this dude's a big man, but he's playing like a guard. And I'm like, shit, this dude is a big guard. So, like, I love Naz Reid. So maybe that's just the only statement. And let's talk about one other guy I love, and I think you love too. Anthony Edwards in Game 1 was just insane. I mean, the problem-solving ability that he had in Game 1, where it wasn't just the scoring. It was, I think he had 9 assists in the first game because they were selling out, playing boxes and elbows to make sure he couldn't get to the basket. And he was just kicking it out to Naz Reid, who I think hit 6 threes in that game. Kicking it out to whoever. And he kicking it out to me.
You can kick it to me, too.
Second Jalen Rose reference of the podcast. What up, though?
Yeah. So I'm really excited about this series. Like you said, I really like that point about sort of like what makes a good series because I forgot what series it was, kind of like in that sort of 2012 to 2014 range where it was like a 7-game series. It might have been like a Hawks series that went to 7. I think it was before that, actually. I think it was like a Hawks Heat series that went to 7, but all the games were blowouts. And like in theory, it's like, oh man, it went to 7.
That was like Minnesota and the Nuggets last year, where it's like, oh man, it went 7. It's like every game was like 15 plus.
Yeah,
it's just one team won each one for 6 straight or for 7 straight.
I mean, honestly, even like Cleveland, Golden State, in 16, it was like because it was the finals, it seemed like a great series, but it was really only like 2 of the games that were really ever close late. So
yeah.
All right.
Who do you have? Where are you going?
I'm still going Lakers in 6. I just refuse to believe that there's a team that's going to do LeBron and Luka in the first round, especially a team whose second best player is like
Randall. I mean, look, if you say Naz Reid, I'm not going to argue with you.
Yeah, Naz Reid or like Jaden McDaniel. I don't know. Like they got KD, but we got Jaden McDaniel's face ass. Like. I mean, I don't. And again, I love Anthony Edwards, but I mean, he's not going to win that series on his own. I'll have to see it to believe it. So.
Okay, fair.
So
I like that.
I'm really excited for this round, but I'm kind of even more excited to get through this round because kind of when you get to the conference semifinals, that's when stuff gets like really intense in a way where it's like.
Oh yeah,
there's only 2 series per side, per and it's just kind of like this is really. I mean, the play-in's already kind of like, okay, who cares? But then the first round is kind of like, all right, you have your blowout series, sort of the first 2 seeds in each side. Well, except this year's a special exception with the Warriors, but round 2, I'm really, really excited about. I really am.
Oh yeah,
but